Well, hey everybody. It's Thursday, the 27th day of February, 2025. I'm Jan Erickson and this is As Above So Below. Let's go ahead and get started here on this Jupiter day, on this Thor's day. Jupiter and Thor are both quite expansive in their energy. So Thursday is always this big last push. It was always this big last push before the weekend, because Friday you're not, you're just thinking about the weekend. So Thursday was always the last ditch effort. Anyway, when I was still working. Anyway, now that I'm retired, I still work, but not that way. Here we have Perthro. Perthro is an interesting rune. It's directional. This is open to birth. This is death. This is also to birth. So this could be new opportunities. This is the past. This is a cauldron that draws down higher energies, spirit energies, into its mix in there. But basically, when I draw Perthro, I'm thinking about, okay, am I giving my fate over to somebody else? Am I being influenced by people with an agenda? So to me, it's like a signal or a warning to say, okay, I need to stop. I need to think about what I'm doing, what the cause and effect of it all is, what the synchronicities are, whether or not I'm being influenced in a way that is not in my best interests by somebody else. So you just kind of got to take a look. So it's kind of like a stop sign in a way to think about, okay, what am I really doing here? And the decisions I'm making, how I'm thinking about things. Is it really coming from a reasoned approach where I'm looking at all sides? Or am I just simply being influenced in a way that's not good? We see a lot of that happening in this country and also around the world right now, where the people that want to control the outcome and have the money and power to do it are trying to control people in a way that should not happen, but it is happening. And so some of us are going to have to think in terms of, what did I do to help with that? Because like with my vote or whatever, let's see, that goes there. Oh, we have Tristitia. What did I do to help contribute to this? What, or if anything, or if I'm just simply, being affected by it. Here we have Tristitia. Tristitia is considered an evil influence in the Geomancy set, but only because it's such an ego focused type of experience and influence. When somebody is in a Tristitia energy, you're somebody that is so stuck in sadness and grief that you'll hold grudges. Maybe you'll act in ways that are negative toward other people. You'll see everything through that lens. And there's a hold that the ego has. You can tell by the downward focus and the active energy here at the bottom from the earth. You see, this is fire, air, water, and earth is what the four lines essentially represent. And it's either going to come up as a single dot when you're throwing down the four elemental runes, or it's going to come up as a dual dot, and then you put them in that order to discover what the Geomancy rune is that you're looking at. And its complement is Laetitia, which is joy and happiness and success and strong intuition and where you're looking at things from a standpoint that's bigger than the focus that Tristitia is going to give you. Tristitia, you're stuck and you see everything through a lens that's very negative and very ego-based. And so if you're giving yourself away, how did that happen? If that's controlling your fate, if that's controlling your decisions, how did that happen? Did it generate entirely within you, or did it generate because you're being influenced by something or someone else? Okay? Some people get caught up in a movement that's very hostile and negative, and they're very easily influenced. It's almost cult-like, and we see that. We see that happening in around the world. We see it happening in our country, where that cult-like mentality is now influenced some people to the point that that now we have what we have going on, and time will tell how well we're able to survive it, you know. If any of you watching, if you're experiencing any of it firsthand, or you know people that are, this is going to be difficult and not real sure how to manage it, right? No one's going to be sure how to manage their lives. When their jobs are gone and whatever services that they're receiving because they needed them are gone, and you're just standing there going, what do I do? Well, in a way, it's a representation of both Perthro and the idea of chance and fate and cause and effect and, all of that. Who's controlling it? And I think that that's where the decisions are going to be coming from, is when you finally figure out who's controlling it, and that, you were duped in a way. People are going to get angry, and it's going to be like that, right? But it's the only way I think that we're going to get to a different place, is when people see the pure, unvarnished truth of it all in terms of Perthro, and what they can do to change their perceptions and to get outside that box that they're in, and that bubble of that they're in, where they're allowing themselves to be influenced by negativity and confirmation bias and all of that kind of stuff, right? And we start out with, let's do the as I said, the Perthro was the 14th rune, plus the 13th card of the Major Arcana, Death, and then I've got the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Swords. But here we have a 27, and 27 is going to reduce to 9. So we have a 9 numerology. So it's suggesting the end of something, okay? And if it's the end of something, it's the end of allowing yourself to be controlled by other people and what they need to have happen, right? The power they need to retain at the ultimate expense of you and everybody else around you, okay? So we're going to start out with Death. Death is about transformation. You see the king dead on the ground. You see the queen over here crying. You see the little boy that looks like he's carrying some kind of a horn, maybe. I've never been really certain what this little piece is here. I look for it. I don't find it anywhere to know for sure what it is. But you see this little piece right here. It could be blowing the horn and alerting everybody that death is riding through, that the Grim Reaper's riding through. Now he's holding a flag with a upside down pentacle in the center, it's a rose in the center, but it's turned upside down. It looks like here you can see the pentagram there in its normal state. Here you have it turned upside down, and all that means is a focus on physical reality and a focus on essentially death at this point versus life. And here you have, over here you have 2 towers, which is a familiar theme in the Rider-Waite tarot. Generally indicates the middle way, or a passage between something, or balance of some kind. And here you have the sun rising on the new day, and it looks like there's the rest of the city beyond the towers there, or the castle beyond the towers. Here you have the ferryman's boat over here. It's a very complex card when you look at it. It's a really kind of a beautiful card, and you have the priest administering last rites over the king as death rides through. But you see a white horse here, and it's of purity. It's a purity of revelation, if you will, or transition, or transformation, or rebirth, if you will, with a new day possible, with the sun rising here. So death does not necessarily mean a death somewhere of a person. It can, I suppose, but generally speaking, I look at it in terms of the transition between, or awakening between perception and higher truth. To where it's time to let go of all the stuff you've thought in the past, and really look at it from higher vision, and to see the fallacy behind all of it, or the truth behind all of it. And again, if you look in terms of fate, how are you going to do that? you may be caught up in it right now, where the effects of it, the tristitia of it, is manifesting for you, and you're not really sure what to do. But again, letting higher awareness come in and just reveal, the revelation of the death card, reveal what the truth is, reveal what, as the light returns in the light of day, what's really the truth of things. And then you go with the Queen of Pentacles, and you trust your instincts, you trust your intuition, you trust, you have this very receptive presence. She's sitting in her garden, and she's looking at all that she's achieved in a life well lived. We have to decide, how have we been living? Have we been living in a way that creates abundance in our life? Or have we been living in almost like a war with other people, where it's us versus them? And instead of seeing everyone as the other side of self, people end up seeing everyone else as the other, which never it never is a very good thing in the end there. But at the same time, with the Queen of Pentacles, she's somebody who's trustworthy and wise, and maybe this is, the qualities you embrace yourself, or this is somebody you go to for advice and say, I have a feeling I haven't been seeing this right, and I'm caught up in something now that I may have helped bring about for myself without realizing it. And so maybe she's somebody that you go to, a grandmother or an older woman, that just seems to understand things a little bit better. And you want to talk with that person and find out what they think, and looking for some advice from them to help you navigate this very transformative moment, where you're starting to awaken to some truth that maybe you didn't, understand before. And with Perthro and its idea of cause and effect, you start to realize pretty quickly what's going on when you see the effect of it all, right? And got to be careful, though, with the King of Swords. Now, I am a little concerned with this king, because unlike the queen, whose sword is held straight up and down, she doesn't take prisoners, or she takes no prisoners. She wants ultimate truth, and she doesn't put up with deception. But here you see this king, his sword is slightly askew, so he wants you to buy some stuff. So this is either the one represents the person who in question that is conning you into believing one thing or another. Or if you don't look at him that way, you can look at him as somebody that is logical and analytical, and you may need to be the same way. So you could look at this card really in two different ways. The Queen, either as to be really reflective on how you've gotten to where you are, or somebody you go and seek advice from. But this one, I don't know that you want to seek advice from this king. In fact, I might take one more card here just to be sure about this, and we'll just take it and modify the king here. But if this is the one that represents the truth that people or the powers that be or an individual in question has wanted you to believe, you need to know that it's there's a con there. And you have to be very, very careful with this person, because given that he is a person in authority and a person with power and wealth, he may have an ability to create an effect in your life, which I think we're seeing now, that is devastating. And you can't get caught in the devastation of it all. You've got to start thinking. You've got to start thinking and getting on your feet, right? You've got to use your intuition. You've got to see the higher vision here and understand that he may be the enemy, no longer at the gate, but in control. And so it's just something where, again, I don't trust the King of Swords, because the sword's not straight up and down. It's always bothered me. It's always like he wants you to believe something that's not really true, it was going to serve him, but it isn't going to serve you at all. And again, that's the essence of Perthro. Who's going to control your fate? Is it going to be you and your higher wisdom that you know is true? Maybe you've been operating under the lie for so long, that it's hard to want to believe that, but it was a lie placed there by others, by powers that seek to control, and who are not there for you, but need you, right? So that they maintain the power and control and the wealth that they want. And I think that's realistically, you look at some of the countries out there, that have dictators. That's what they've got, and the people have no ability to assert themselves or to say, hey, wait a minute, you can't do this to us, right? Because there's consequences for it, right? And we want to make sure here in this country that we haven't reached the tipping point and gone over the edge. And that's where we are now. We don't want that to happen. And maybe that ship has sailed. I don't know. We're going to find out here as time goes on just how much we can stop and thwart all this nonsense that's going on with the king, who can't seem to tell you the truth, who wants you to believe a bunch of BS that's just not real. But we have to let the transformation take place, that transformation where we let go of perceptions that are keeping us in this tristitious moment, and we can't see the forest for the trees. We can't get out of that negative mindset that seems to keep us where we are. And unfortunately, that's what this guy wants. He wants you there, you see. And he wants to control the Perthrow aspect of your life. He wants to control your fate, so that he is the one in power, and he stays rich, and he stays this and that. Whereas the rest of you, who cares? I got what I want. That's his attitude. And that's why I don't like the King of Swords. I've never liked the King of Swords. Very different energy than the Queen of Swords. You look at the Queen of Swords from the Thoth Tarot, if you ever want to look at that. It shows a queen reclining on her crystal throne in the sky with a severed head in one hand and a sword in another, because she's not going to take any crap or deception or lies from anybody. Very different than the energy presented here. But again, if you want to look at him as clever and logical and all of that, well, you can, and you can embrace those qualities yourself when you're trying to figure out, okay, what just happened? And how do I need to see this? And how do I need to look at the idea of cause and effect right now, and what I can do to break out of that control of somebody else, the somebody else's who created the us versus them mentality between the populace just here in this country. It's, oh, the left is bad. Oh, the right is bad. It's like, we're in this together, whether we want to be or not, and at some point we're going to want to be anyway, right? Because that's the truth of it all. It's us against the billionaires. It's us against the people that want to stay in power and control at the expense of everybody else. So what do? Decades ago, they said, well, let's divide and conquer. Well, have they not done that? We can't let that happen, right? And I just think that today's reading is just getting you out of that mindset that maybe you didn't create for yourself, that it came from somebody else, and it influenced you in a way and created situations that reinforced it, right? Now the chickens are coming home to roost, and we have to look at it, no matter what that means, no matter how much, self-reflection we need to do. Death could be about that, self-reflection. And realizing, I think I got misled. And I think I need to change that. I need to let the light come in from the sun here that's rising in between the two towers, and have a rebalancing, start over again. And look at people that I thought were the other as the other side of self. And as a brother, as a sister, as family, as somebody that we're in this with together, even though it may seem counterintuitive and weird, and you're like, oh, geez, I don't know about that. Well, let it go, because all we have now are each other. And again, we need to reflect on, where is our abundance going to come from? Is it coming from compassion and support and empathy for others? Is that our true abundance, or is it the abundance of the King that he wants at the expense of everybody else? So, anyway, that's enough. A little, you know, activist type of a reading today, but I think it's necessary. I really do. We're going to have to give up whatever preconceived notions we had that kept us aligned in negativity, and realize that they were likely put there by somebody else who needs them to be there. So he or she can divide and conquer. But in this case, it seems to be he can divide and conquer, and at the expense of everyone. It's not right. It's not fair. And it can't continue. And we need to let the death card represent a new focus, a new belief system, a new energy of renewal and transformation within each one of us, to then come together in some kind of collective consciousness that then rises up and says, no, I don't think you're going to win today, dude. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. And check out the stuff on the blog. Comes out on Sunday mornings at midnight, in the midnight hour. And the forecast for the week will be there. The correspondences will be there. And come back again on Monday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another. And blessed be.